Hey, love and peace. This is Ray. I want to talk about the power of words. The power of words. We must watch what we say, not only in the verbal sense, but also in our own thoughts. A lot of times we'll think of something, we'll dwell on something, and it'll be the same thing, repetition, synchronicity of the same word or the same idea. And normally that's how you would bring something to fruition. You got to be cautious about that. It's interesting because a lot of times we think that when we're trying to manifest something or allow something to flow into our lives, we spend so much time on the visual aspect of it, like through visualization. We also utilize other tools such as affirmations, mirror affirmations, confirmation affirmations, and some other techniques, meditation. And we put so much time into that. And it's so ironic that we can also build, our desire like that. We build our desire like that, but we can also build our desire through smaller bits and pieces over time. And the key there is the consistency. It's kind of like, what I'm talking about is like people will use certain words or talk about certain things over and over again. It's like the beat of the drum. You're beating that drum over and over and over again. You may not do it as loud or use different techniques to learn to beat that drum, but you're still beating that drum. You may be terrible at it, but you're still beating that drum. And so that vibration is still being fueled and enhanced, because the more you beat that drum, the more it enhances the frequency of it, you see? And it's the key there is just the consistency of it all. That's how you build belief systems or paradigms. That's how you do that. So as someone who is constantly talking about things that they don't desire, or thinking about things that they don't desire, that's what they're going to bring to fruition. You got to be cautious with your thoughts. And like all videos, I just don't like to go into the topic about what we're talking about, such as watching your words, without giving you a way to counteract that or to cancel out that vibration. I said it before in my previous video, I say it again. Lower vibration, yes, they are powerful, but higher vibration will wipe them out every single time, will cancel them out every single time. They're just a higher, more powerful, much purer vibration. They're pure divine energy, if you think of it in that way. And then you have the dark. You take this pure divine light and put it in the dark. It's gonna shine its light on everything, and anything that's not pure is just gonna disintegrate. It's just gonna destroy it. That's why you hear stories of people who've had dreams or experiences where they're being confronted within a dream or in or in whatever situation or whatever form of reality that they've experienced it in. But they experience situations where some kind of entity or a negative force tries to disrupt their joy, their flow, and at that moment their true divine self comes forth, and it's almost like this bright divine light just like wipes it out. And they see it. A lot of times you hear the experience stories where like, oh yeah, this thing was before me, and all of a sudden this light came out of nowhere, and this thing just like was just destroyed. And that's because, again, it's just the divine light that's within us all. And it's kind of like the sun. It's so funny that I'm talking about that, because now the sun is like shining so bright behind me, and it's kind of blocking out, the camera recording, and I kind of put me like in a shadow kind of thing. But that's how powerful the light is. It can cast out so many things. But that's the vibration. That's what high vibrational frequency can do for you. So if you find yourself having the habit are stuck in the habit, and you're aware of this habit that you're talking, meaning that you're talking about something that you don't want to talk about, because you just like, you are aware now that anything that you're talking about that you really don't like, but you find yourself talking about it a lot, and you're now aware that the more you're talking about that, the more you're feeding it, and the more you're feeding it, the more that's going to be your reality. You're going to get more of that reality. So if your decision moving forward is to not do that, then what you need to do is, when you catch yourself, utilize a lot of these tools that I gave you before, you know, like the affirmations and visualization and learning to feel the vibration. I'll give you a couple. I'll review those techniques. So let's say, for example, you're talking about things you normally don't like, but you catch yourself, you become aware of it. That's the key there. That's the first step. Learn to become aware of it. And the way you do that is, like, if you start thinking, if that little voice in your head, that little negativity starts saying, oh yeah, you can't do this, oh you can't have that, if you catch that, don't just sit there. Speak, use your words, okay, and say, and use the power of the words. That's and as you speak these words, you're creating this vibration, all right, and you're transmuting the energy. Okay, people think that it's like some Dragon Ball, so Superman kind of a thing where you're gonna be shooting out laser beams, and no, you're transmuting this energy in so many different ways by changing your thought, by changing the words, by changing the feeling. That's how you convert energy. Okay, so let's review again. The first thing you want to do is be aware. The way you become aware, because you're not going to catch yourself, you're not going to convert the energy to a positive, from a negative to a positive, if you're not aware of it. So you got to be aware. Try to be paying attention to how you're speaking to yourself, how you're talking to yourself, and then go from there and start. Whenever you start saying, "Oh yeah, I can't do this, can't do that," you talk to yourself. Say, "No, I can do this. I am capable of this. All things are possible unto me." And you can even rebuke it. I like to rebuke these. I say, I rebuke you. Be gone. You are not allowed here. And so these are the way you will talk to yourself over and over and over again, as almost like an authority figure, talking to the child aspect of yourself. You say it out loud, man, because if you're that passionate, sometimes you have to say it out loud. I like to say it out loud. And I notice that when I do that, it's almost like it just shuts up. That part of me just shuts up. And then you can confirm. I like to follow up with a positive confirmation. So once I cancel that out, and it's kind of like removing it, you got to place something in something in its place, because that energy is gonna just come. That negative energy is gonna come back again. That's why some people, they hear it again and again. So I like to replace it with something positive, and then at that point, I'll just say, I know I can be what I will to be. I know I can be what I will to be. And then you can say stuff. Those are some affirmations that you can come up with your own, pick your own, and it should be in association with or in alignment. The affirmation should be in alignment with the desire that you're looking for, the desired result. So if your result is to be positive in that, and believing that you are capable of accomplishing whatever or having whatever, then you find an affirmation or a few affirmations and just enforce it, repeat it. What I like to do too with that, if it's a really strong negative vibration that has been created, negative vibration becomes stagnant energy. That's why you feel those worry, the fear. It just sits and lingers. That stagnant energy. These are things you got to know. So if you're feeling these things or experiencing these things, now you know what they are. Now you know, and I'm telling you what you can do to remove them, to get them out. Because the moment you spend to do the work to get rid of the stagnant energy, the byproduct of that is that you're going to connect instantaneously to flow. You're going to connect to the flow quicker, and it's going to be much smoother. we're always, and just a tidbit, it's because we're beings of light, our true divine selves are beings of light, we're always trying, or automatically trying to reconnect back home, or back to source, God, you know, to the universe. So you're helping yourself to remove that stagnant energy, aka resistance, aka separation from source, God, the flow. So the other technique that I will use is I breathe a certain way, and I'll say certain things to myself too. I'll say, and I'll do this out loud. I'll say, I'll breathe in through my nose, and I'll say in with the positive, and I'll breathe out through my mouth, out with the negative. And I'm breathing from the pit of my stomach. I go in, and as I'm breathing, I'm saying in my head, in with the positive energy, and as I breathe out through my mouth, out, and then again saying in my head, out with the negative energy. In with the positive energy, out with the negative energy. And it's almost like commanding and working with the mind, body, and spirit to tell yourself what you want, to tell the physical and the spiritual and the mental what it is that you're trying to do with the breathing. What do you want me to do, says the physical. What do you want to do, says the spiritual, with this energy? I am telling you, I'm breathing in, I'm moving it. When you're breathing it in, you're into the pits of your stomach, you're moving it. You're bringing some clean energy, some creative energy, the flow, and then you bring it as you exhale, you're bringing it up, and then you're telling your spiritual self, I want to remove this, and out with the negative energy. Boom. If you think of it that way, and if that's your intent, meaning if you believe what I'm telling you to do it, that if you're doing it that way, it will work, it will work. If you think it's crap, it's going to be crap. It will be powerless. It's kind of like if you think of, this is why I tell you the power of words is the power of creation. And the power of creation is the power of belief. So if you use words to create a belief in yourself that you see a regular rock that there's millions that look just like it, and you pick that one rock and you feel like that's your lucky rock, and you really believe it, I mean like really consciously, subconsciously believe it, it's going to be your lucky rock. Amazing things are going to happen. It's not going to be because the rock has power. It's because you gave that rock power, which is something I never would suggest. Keep the power within yourself. Know that the great power within you, God, source, universe, is in you. Okay? So you decide what you're going to give power to. Are you going to have a code and say, oh, I have a code? Well, then you're using the power of words to confirm and to empower that code. Or are you going to say, even if you have a code in the physical, you're going to say, I am perfectly healthy, and I'm grateful and thankful for the divine perfect health within me, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. And it is so. And if you command that, and you believe that, and you proclaim that, no matter how many times, every single time, you're going to notice that your code will be shortened, because your body will expel it quicker. You will notice that you get sick rarely. You will notice that you won't even have to take so much medications or medicines when you're doing that. That's because the power within you, God, source, universe, is this divine light that expels and destroys anything that's not supposed to be there. But again, it can only do that if you believe that that is what is. If you don't, then it won't. That's why most healings don't work, because it's not about the healer, it's about the believer. See, most people don't realize that. It's not about the Reiki teacher, it's about the believer. It's not about the Qigong master, it's about the believer. It's not about the Buddhas or the Jesus, it's about the believer. Okay? Now, I'm not taking away from those people that can do that. I'm a Reiki master level 3, and I study different levels of energy, such as Qigong and some other ancient forms of energy as well. And I'm telling you, from my experiences, no matter how powerful you may think you are, or how gifted you are, and which is a blessing that if you are gifted, we need you guys. Guys, girls, don't matter. We need you all. This world needs healing. But there's a twofold there when you're trying to heal someone. The power of words. One, you have to spend time in your development and your development of your belief system. If you choose to be a great healer, then believe and focus and meditate and see and feel and know. Just know. Work on knowing that you are a great, powerful healer of all things in all aspects. Mentally, physically, and spiritually, because you want to go beyond the normal healing of the physical. You want to heal the physical, the spiritual, the mental. So you got to use the power of words to believe, to build that belief within yourself. That's key, the power of words. Okay? And the second part of that is that the other individual has to truly believe that they accept and that they allow this miracle or this healing or this gift of perfect health. They have to desire it. They have to believe it. Okay? They have to be open to it. And that's what I meant, that if you're a powerful healer and you believe you're a powerful healer and you go to try to heal someone, and most people may say, oh, this is not true, but I'll clarify a bit more the power of words. We're talking about power of words here. But if you go and you try to heal someone who doesn't believe that it's going to work, I mean, if they really don't believe it's not going to work, let me tell you something, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I do believe that you may plant the seed in them. They may feel something that may little by little start building within them. And it could take months, years, to where eventually they come back and now they're like, man, I've had this one experience and I couldn't get it out of my head. That's because the seed that you planted, that this stuff is real and possible, that possibility, the idea of possibility grew in their head, and then eventually they'll come back, or they'll go to someone else, or they'll find someone else that does what you do, and they'll be ready for that healing. And maybe the person is not a very powerful healer, but they are ready. And because maybe the other person is not a powerful healer, but pure in heart, so the flow of that healer energy flows to them, and then they get that healing or that perfect health. Or they may even find it within themselves. They may even heal themselves. Okay? Now, a lot of people don't like to hear that, but that's when you are open and honest and you talk to Source, God, universe, and you talk about that, and you get into the studies and understanding of vibrational frequency, and you look at the laws of that, you're going to see what I just said is true. But you have to kind of like, I like that part in the scripture says test the spirits. You have to test what people are telling you. Research it. Take time to learn that. You're gonna learn what the power of words is so important in everything we do. In everything we do. That's why you see a lot of great healers. They always indicate, especially like people like Jesus, who, he would ask you, do you believe? Do you accept this healing? And some really great Reiki teachers are the same way. Do you accept this healing? Or a lot of energy workers will look at you and they'll be like, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Do you accept this? Do you really want? Or they can just tell if the person believes or that they're going to receive, or they're open to it. And if they're not, they'll be like, you know what? Let's reschedule for another time. And sometimes they'll do that once or twice. And if they see that the person's still close, sometimes they will refuse to do anything with that person. They may even advise that person about what's happening. They'll be like, look, I'm feeling this energy from you. It's closed up energy. And until we can get past that, there's not much we can do beyond that. That's a great healer. That's why I said be a healer of mental, physical, and spiritual, because and using words to convert energy. Because if a person is closed off, you can use power of words to teach, to basically talk to them, inform them, advise them, And just doing that, you may think that the normal person may think that they're not doing anything, and they would like, man, I really wanted to heal this person, blah blah blah. I really want. Well, you are. You're helping them open up to the allowing or accepting of the healing. So you're creating the bridge. That's the first part. That's the bridge. And it's like in any kind of fighting. A lot of people, they want to be able, they practice the boxing and they practice the punching and they practice the kicking, but they don't practice the bridging of what they call bridging. In Wing Chun, we call it bridging. Okay, you want to be able to, in boxing, it's called bridging the gap. You want to be able to bridge that gap. You want to be able to control that gap. How do you get close enough to connect? Meaning that to be at arm's length. How do you get good at that? Being able to come in and out to build that bridge so that you can do what you want, what you need to do, what is needed. So it's the same thing in healing. You have to be able to bridge that gap with someone who may be closed off. You can use words through to be an advisor and help them become aware that they're blocking themselves and blocking this healing. A lot of times you're going to find that by help them become aware by using words again, we help them convert that energy from being a block or that negative belief system to an awareness of what it is and that they're blocking it. And then I would say a lot of times, 90% of the time, they will become aware and remove that block. And a lot of times that block is the source of their illness. That's why the Asians and people from India, when they look at how they go about healing, that's the way they go about healing. The Japanese, the same way too. They try to heal what is the problem first within you or psychologically. And then once they remove that and that's gone, then whatever's left in the physical, then you can go after that and deal with that. But all of that is with the power of words. Those are just different examples. I know it seems like I got off track, but if you really listen to this video, it's all about these are all examples about the power of utilizing vibrational frequencies in the form of words, feelings, or thoughts to create or allow the desires and wants to flow into your life, or to change the things you don't want. And how powerful words or thoughts or feelings thought of in a continuous aspect, like the drum example, beating that drum will create more of the undesired effects in your life. I couldn't say any more clear than that. As always, this is Ray, love and peace. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. As always, love and peace.